Well, good Monday morning to you. Welcome to our Monday morning live edition of the Doctor's Nutrition Show. I'm your host, Jim Tabor, along with Doctors Jim and Janine Fox from Doctor's Nutrition, located on Callan Lorraine Road in Gulfport, just south of Pass Road. This is a live show, and we do it every Monday morning, and it is a call-in show, which we usually have a topic that we talk about, and then invite you to call in and ask any kind of questions. The number is 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. You just pass the question along to our director and our producer, and they will pass it along to us. Now, the first Monday of every month, we do what is called Open Line Monday, which we open the phones to any kind of questions you have regarding your health. And we get quite a few different ones and some interesting ones at times. So again, if you have any kind of question, please feel free to give us a call, and we'll be glad to pass that on to you. And of course, always at the end of the show, we have a weekly special for you as well. So everybody have a good weekend?
Yeah.
Anybody watch the Kentucky Derby?
I did not.
Me neither. So.
Yeah, missed it.
I usually do. But I did not. I missed
But
it.
they said it's one of the best one ever because there was such a tight, close race.
Yeah, it was close. I saw reruns, but I did not watch it.
Okay.
Yep.
We know the Kentucky Derby has nothing to do with health except the health of the horses. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you have some stuff over there for us you want to share with us this morning?
Yeah, something interesting. You know, we kind of keep up with what comes across the wires. You know, and I mean, everybody out there has probably thought about cranberry juice for urinary tract, right?
I've always heard that.
Yeah.
Or cranberry extract. That's what it was really about.
Right. Actually, this is a cranberry extract. It's what they talked about because a lot of times if you come in and asking for cranberry, we're probably going to tell you to take cranberry extract rather than juice, simply because most of the juices out there got way too much sugar in them. They really do.
Most of them aren't real cranberry juice.
Most of them aren't real cranberry. It's cran apple, stuff like that.
They got cranberry cocktail, which means there's a bunch of other stuff in with it, so you want just pure cranberry.
Yeah. But this was about, and it was done at the Université Laval, which is in Quebec, so our Canadian friends did a little research, and they did some pretty good research. What they found was the cranberry extract that you take in a capsule, and I'd have to say it's probably one of the cheapest polyphenols that you can get in a capsule. It really is. It's very inexpensive.
Expensive.
No, not expensive at all. And what they found was within as little as 4 days, this thing changed the microbiome tremendously.
Of the gut.
Of the gut.
So we're not talking about urinary tract because yes, cranberry has a lot of different uses. There's a lot of research that's come out about cardiovascular health in cranberry and how good it is for, you know, they say the colored. And the darker the color, the better the antioxidants, and cranberry is one of those that have a lot of antioxidant effect. But that study did show that it actually helped the microbiome of the gut, especially one of the bacteria called Akkermansia. And
we've used Akkermansia now for probably a year or so. Research has been coming out on it for quite a while about how it can actually help with some weight loss. Okay, so a lot of people are kind of like, ooh, weight loss. Now, obviously, the disclaimer is that Akkermansia with a very controlled diet.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not just going to take Akkermansia, eat Dunkin' Donuts 3 times a day, and lose weight.
Still lose weight, exactly.
Right. Wish it were true, but it's not.
You control your diet, you're going to lose weight.
You control your diet, you're going to.
It helps.
It helps.
What they have found on the weight loss issue with Akkermansia is that they've looked at microbiome from overweight people and really thin people, and what they find is people that are really thin tend to have more Akkermansia.
Right.
So they've actually said people that tend to have more of it tend to obviously lose weight easier. But you know, that's just kind of like what they see. Now we do have Akkermansia in a capsule, but it is way more expensive than cranberry in a capsule.
Way.
So we have both.
So let me ask you this: if somebody has a good regimen of probiotics in their diet, does that lessen the chance of them getting UTIs? I know that more with the gut,
it just helps
maybe not so much the
It helps.
It helps your immune system.
Okay.
And it really depends on, UTIs really depend on a few other things. I mean, we see a lot of UTIs in postmenopausal women, and that is due to the lower estrogen.
Right.
We do have one of the estrogen, the estriol cream that does help prevent UTIs in that case. It just depends on what's going on and why somebody keeps getting UTIs. So, but just taking probiotics help the immune system as a whole. So it just helps your immune system.
Right.
Got a question from a viewer. What helps with Crohn's disease?
Ooh, boy, this could be a 3-hour show.
Yeah, Crohn's is Crohn's is an autoimmune problem.
Right.
So Crohn's is the body attacking itself, and it does it, of course, in the intestines. So With Crohn's, for one, you have to, we always say get off the gluten.
Totally.
Always get off the gluten, because gluten has been shown to trigger Crohn's. And it's better to do a grain-free diet when you have Crohn's anyway. But we have a product called GI Essentials. It helps heal the lining of the intestines and the gut, and it does wonders for Crohn's. So I would say the first thing I would tell somebody to do with Crohn's is GI Essentials, but also your probiotics are very important.
I was going to say they're extremely important. Usually, it depends on what stage the person's in when they come into us with Crohn's. If it's kind of quiet, we'll use some smaller doses of probiotics. The patients always think they're really big, but they're actually small. But then if we get somebody that's in a real flare-up, we've got one particular probiotic that's 350 billion colony-forming units per dose.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we'll
Mine that I take is only 50 billion.
Right.
Right.
It's a really strong one. And also, if somebody's in a flare-up, it's different than if you're in a flare-up if you're trying to prevent.
Right.
In a flare-up, we also use something called SPM.
Right.
And it's special pro-resolving mediators, which has been shown to actually help the inflammatory response. And Crohn's is very inflammatory.
Very.
So, you can use colostrum with Crohn's, you can use olivir with Crohn's, we have a lot of different things depending on the severity and the individual person's
Yeah, it just depends on what stage they're in when they come into us.
But we definitely have a lot of people that come in with Crohn's.
Oh, definitely.
And then, of course, a lot of people with Crohn's need iron, and so we use a very absorbable iron as well if they need it, but you don't want to just take iron unless you know for sure you need it, which, of course, lab testing is what tells you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can take too much.
Yes, you can.
You can.
And then iron can be an irritant if you don't need it. So, like I said, it really depends on the case. So, but there's a lot of different things we do and we look at when it comes to Crohn's.
Right.
Okay. Recently been having a lot of swelling in my feet and ankles. I'm tired a lot and my urine is slow. Can I be having a kidney problem?
Well, that's a possibility.
Yeah, definitely possible. And again, the only way you know if it's kidney, because I have people that come in all the time and with their symptoms are like, oh, I know it's this. Well, it's not when you check it, but you can check. We do the urinalysis and we do kidney function test, which is the BUN, creatinine, GFR, see where it is. And then you can kind of go from there. But swelling in the ankles definitely can be kidney, but it can also be heart. It can, there's a lot of things that it can be. So you just have to look at the overall picture and see where it is. But you can't always assume that it's a problem just from symptoms, because symptoms can be the same in a lot of different problems.
Yeah, we were always taught, early on in your education, if you got both extremities swelling, you have to think kidneys and heart.
Yeah.
Don't forget that heart. It's a big part of it, or could be a big part of it too.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. 8 minutes after 9 o'clock, 896-0713, 800-349-0713. Our phone lines are open to you. It's Open Line Monday, so any questions you have about your health, please feel free to pick up the phone and give us a call. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. And welcome back. It's our Monday morning live edition of the Doctor's Nutrition Show. It's Open Line Monday, so call in with any questions that you have regarding your health, 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. Are there foods that can help lower my blood pressure, and what foods should I avoid?
Well, obviously the first thing you start to avoid is the sugary stuff, because sugar is an inflammatory process, and processed foods. There's so many things in some of your highly processed foods that can lead to things like blood pressure and a lot of other stuff too. But that's one of the first things you start thinking about is, and here's the thing about this. A lot of people come in and say, well, they're looking for a magic pill. Okay, I'm out. Sorry, don't have those. But we always talk about, if you're going to change your diet, we're going to change this, do that, do it in baby steps. Okay, so you don't want to jump off the cliff, fine, but do it in baby steps. Now, some people, when they quit smoking cold turkey, they're done. Some people have that ability, some don't. So whatever you know yourself better than we do. But the thing is you've got to make some steps. And blood pressure, we got a whole show coming up on blood pressure.
Yeah, actually next week is actually on hypertension, because I think next Friday is Hypertension Awareness Day.
Yeah.
So we're going to do it next week during the week.
Right.
Our show's not on Friday, but we're doing it on Monday. So we are going to have a whole show on hypertension, and we can go into detail on what you can do. But the question about what foods, garlic, great for lowering blood pressure.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, like I said, get off packaged processed food, lose a little weight.
Yeah.
But we're going to go into detail next week on what you can do for blood pressure and how you can actually help it naturally.
All right.
Yeah.
You have some more for us over there?
Well, there's another kind of an interesting little study, And I thought it was kind of interesting. Now, they show that just a few minutes a day of activity, just physical activity, walking, climbing stairs, stuff like that, can prevent heart disease. I mean, it doesn't take a lot. You don't have to go to the gym, spend 3 hours, because that turns a lot of people off. And I understand that. I mean,
if there's a choice between the stairs or something else, take the stairs.
Take stairs.
If you just change little daily habits to where you move a little bit more, it can actually help reduce cardiovascular risk.
Yeah, you know, things like when you go to the mall or when you go to the grocery store or whatever, don't spend all your time trying to find that parking place right up next to you.
Yeah, walk a little farther.
Out in the parking lot. Walk, you know. You might have to walk another 100 feet or 200 feet or whatever. That's good for you. That little bit of, believe it or not, the study that they did showed that just those little bitty changes, micro changes you might say, actually benefited tremendously. So that's a really interesting thing.
So get moving and take the stairs if you can. I have a friend that always she is so fit and exercises constantly. I mean, she don't need to take the stairs, but she does. But I mean, there'll be 4 flights of stairs instead of taking an elevator or escalator. She'll go the stairs, always. And a lot of times she'll beat you.
Yeah. Sure.
Another question from a viewer: what natural medication can help with constipation?
One of the best things that we found is probiotics.
Yeah, probiotics, and we have a specific probiotic 100B, that actually has a specific probiotic, Lactobacillus reuteri, which does help with constipation. So definitely probiotics. We do use magnesium citrate in some people. We have an aloe extract that's 200 times, it's actually called Aloe 200X because it's like 200 times stronger than your normal aloe. So aloe also helps with constipation. There's a lot of things that can cause constipation. So again, we look at the full picture. And like thyroid, if somebody's thyroid is sluggish, you get the thyroid working better, it helps constipation as well. So you got to look at if it suddenly started, what's causing it, and also make sure you drink a lot of water.
Yeah,
I mean, water, because if you're dehydrated, you don't have enough water in the gut, and so it's going to be hard, and then it's going to make it harder to go.
Yeah, and actually physical activity. Like this little study showed.
Exercise.
Just things like walking. I mean, we don't have to get. You don't have to get carried away. Just simple things, and it's amazing how many people don't do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, I had a gentleman I remember years ago. He was. I guess it kind of opened my eyes to what really can happen. I kept telling him about, he needed a little bit more exercise. He said, well, I walk to the street every day. All right, that could be a ways. I mean, we've got folks out in the country that, to take their garbage out to the street, it's a quarter of a mile.
100 yards,
Yeah. Well, his is about 75 feet. And he did that every day. He thought, oh, that's it. Otherwise, he got out of his car, parked in his garage, walked in the house, sit down in a chair. He'd get up, he'd go to the office, sit down in a chair at a computer and desk all day. And that was his activity. So trying to get him to do just anything would be, a godsend as far as changing his health.
Now, one of the problems with people, they wanted to go get some of the herbal laxatives, and we do have those for emergencies. I don't like the laxatives on a daily basis. I like getting somebody going regularly, and even people say, well, maybe magnesium's a laxative. Well, it has a laxative effect, but it's actually great for overall health, and it's used in 300 different other things in the body, and it's essential, and 90% of the people are deficient in it.
Yeah.
So you want things that can be beneficial to health in other ways. You don't want to get laxative dependent.
Right. And that's something that we see happen a lot.
Yeah, we see that a lot.
Yeah. Another question from a viewer: what would you recommend for building bones?
For building bones, we have actually a few things. For one, always have your vitamin D levels checked.
Yeah.
And if you're low in D, or if you take D, you've got to have your K2 with it. Yeah. K2 is essential for actually having D help with bones. Now, we have another thing that we use called ostenol. Ostenol is something a little different. Most people have not seen anything like it. No. It is a bone morphogenic protein. So it increases osteoblastic activity. So osteoblasts actually help you build bone. So it helps build bone. Now, we also, weight-bearing exercise. You got to have weight-bearing exercise. If your body does not think that it needs more bone, it will not make it. Now, everybody's always heard of calcium, and you do have to have your calcium, but you don't want an overabundance of calcium that your body can't use. So we have some different formulas with calcium, magnesium. We have silica, which actually helps with bone. We have a new product that we've been carrying called Bone Builder, which is a combination of calcium, magnesium, but it actually is microcrystalline hydroxyapatite, which is the type of calcium that the bones are made of. So it has all your trace minerals in with that as well. So that's actually really good. So there's a lot of things you can do for osteoporosis.
Yeah, it's a process. It's not one thing.
It is. It's not just one thing.
All right.
Yeah.
896-0713 or 800-349-0713. Our phone lines are open for you. We're going to take our final break here in just a moment, as well as coming back with this week's special, 17 minutes after 9 o'clock with the Monday morning live edition of the Doctor's Nutrition Show. And welcome back. It's our final segment. It's 20 minutes after 9 o'clock. And let's go ahead and look at what the special for this week is.
Yeah, it's our DN E-Plex.
Yeah.
And E-Plex, it's a new product. So we actually got it in probably within the last month. And it is a really good product because it's an E-complex, not just your regular vitamin E.
Right. Yeah, no, most vitamin E, everybody looks at it is going to be the D-alpha tocopherol, if it's natural. The DL is the synthetics. But the D-alpha tocopherol is only one of the tocopherols. There's 4 of them. Now, this E-Plex has all 4 of those. But then there's even something else. There's a subset of vitamin E that they didn't discover until, what, 10, 15 years ago, or maybe something like that, and it's called the tocotrienols. Aha! So there's 4 of those guys. Now, these things they look similar to vitamin E when they looked at them, and they thought they were just vitamin E, but they got to look at it, how they do it, and they have a bigger biological activity doing things in the body, helping things like, one of the biggies is helping you process lipids, keep it down, lipid peroxidation or oxidized LDL, that kind of thing. Great for that. So
also good for fatty liver,
right,
cardiovascular problems.
Right. So it's a really, and this one's got all 8 of them.
Yeah, it's all 8 together, and usually you just take 1 a day.
Right.
So it's a really good complex, and it's something that you don't see very often.
Right.
All right. Another question is, eating onion or garlic powder the same as real onions and garlic? No.
Well, no, it takes a lot of it. I mean, if you ate like a pound of it, maybe. But I mean, the thing is you don't eat when
then
you
your food's not going to taste.
When
real
you
good.
cook with it, you just cook with a little bit.
Yeah.
You're not really getting, and it's been dehydrated. It's been who knows how it's been processed. Because if it's at high temperatures, it loses a lot of it. You really are better off with fresh. And fresh onions and garlic are really good prebiotics. People don't think about that, but okay, we have your probiotics, and then you have what is best to feed your probiotics. Onions and garlic are great at feeding your probiotics. So eat them fresh. I start everything I cook with onions and garlic.
Oh yeah.
I mean, almost everything I chop up.
Mostly garlic, it's like whenever Rob Stinson with Salutes in here shooting, the first thing he puts in the pan?
Garlic, yeah.
Garlic.
Garlic.
Right.
I usually do my onions first, but
Yeah.
Everybody's got their own
onions and
Hey,
garlic.
and I love
everything.
just fresh purple onions on top of a salad.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We-
I love those
We,
things.
we do a lot of the red onions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you recommend for cleansing the blood?
Well, the thing about cleansing the blood, we've got systems in place in our body. For instance, the liver. It's cleansing your blood 24/7. And every 60 seconds, every minute, 1.5 liters goes through the average adult human liver. Think about that, 1.5 liters of blood. It's a very blood intense organ. And what it's doing is it's processing and cleansing the blood.
Right, so
Keep it healthy.
The liver support and detox
Right.
would be our product that we recommend for cleansing the blood, because the liver is what does that.
Right.
There are some other things known to actually help detoxify and stuff, but when it's really talking about cleansing, you're talking about what the liver does.
Yeah. Exactly. That and the kidneys. Keep the kidneys and keep the liver healthy. Liver support detox, and with kidneys, we always talk about stuff like even NAC, N-acetylcysteine, really helps those kidneys. Great antioxidant. But there's a lot of things that will help those kidneys. B1, but we use a compound called benfodiamine, which is an activated B1. Great for the kidney function. And keep those organs working, you're going to cleanse your blood.
And lots of water.
Lots of water.
What do you think about the new medication for bone disease?
I'm not sure which one they're talking
There's
about.
lots of There's lots of medication out there, but medication is not what we do.
Yeah.
We are not the specialist in medication. I always tell people if they have questions on medications to go ask their pharmacist.
Ask your pharmacist. That's the best place. Yeah.
That's why they put whenever you pick up your medication and everything, they have that big long list.
That's right.
If you don't want to read it,
No.
ask your pharmacist.
But you do want to read it.
You read it.
They put it out for a reason so that they do give you the information on the side effects. People don't want to know that that really happens. But if it's on that sheet, it has happened or it wouldn't be on there.
Yeah.
So make
Side effects
sure
is the major thing.
if there's medication, you ask your pharmacist, you ask your doctor, and you do some research on your own. Like I said, we do the natural medication. We don't do the synthetics. So, of course, we are actually biased to the natural.
Yeah.
I think natural's better. It has less side effects. But, you know, that's why you got to do your own research on it.
Right. And if you're going to do research, use Google, but don't use just regular Google. Use Google Scholar. It gives you a whole scientific look at this stuff. It's not just somebody trying to sell you something.
Right.
It's going to be the science behind whatever's going on. So,
I suffer from arthritis. Are there foods I should avoid, and what do you have to help?
Yep.
the biggie is the nightshades. They
Yeah.
always talk about the nightshades, and they really can cause a lot of inflammation. And that's your tomatoes, your peppers, your eggplant, things like that. Those are the ones that you probably want to.
Also gluten.
Gluten, oh yeah, gluten and dairy. Believe
Yeah.
it or not, dairy can be very problematic in a lot of people too.
Yep.
Causes inflammation. It might not cause the GI problems, but it causes other kinds of inflammation. And if you got arthritis, any inflammation is going to make it worse.
Any inflammation makes it worse.
Right.
What we have for it, the thing we probably use most for arthritis is Pernimax.
Yeah.
And Pernimax works really well for osteo, and it's also used for rheumatoid arthritis. You cannot take it with gout, and gout is a type of arthritis, but it is a muscle, so you cannot take it with gout. We also have stuff like SPM, which I've mentioned, and that's great anti-inflammatory. We have Phyto-4, which is actually for plant extracts, that's for inflammation. We have the MSM, we have collagen, we have, you name it, we have a lot of stuff for arthritis. And everybody's different on what might work best for them, but that's why we're there. So you can come by and ask us and give us your history, and we'll see what might work best for you.
Speaking of collagen, one of our other questions that was emailed in, does collagen support hair growth?
Collagen does support it.
Supports it.
It's not just that you're going to take collagen and grow all this new hair. Now it does help
I'd
support
have been on
it.
top of that a long time ago.
Right, because if you, especially if you have a deficiency in something else, it's not going to fix that
Right.
deficiency. So, but collagen is a good add-on to actually help with hair, skin, nail, joints, all of it, because collagen does help with joints.
Yeah, but understand the word, when we say it supports hair growth, it supports it. It's not a be-all, end-all.
Yeah.
So and that's one of the problems with something like that for hair growth.
And if
People
you
think
have male pattern baldness like I do, it doesn't work whatsoever.
it'll support it in other places.
Yeah.
As Janine has pointed out a few times, you have male pattern baldness, and there's nothing going to help that.
No, unfortunately.
Not at this point.
Not at this point.
They are coming out with things nowadays. You see some of the stuff
Well,
out
they're
there
so used to it
is
now.
really helping, but I mean, you got to do it kind of early.
Yeah.
That's true. Next week,
Next week, we're going to talk about hypertension. Like we
high
mentioned
blood
earlier
pressure,
in the
that's right,
show.
that's right.
We are going to talk about hypertension, natural things that you can do, diet changes that you can do, and losing weight.
all right. Well, thank you for being with us this morning on this Monday morning edition of the Doctor's Nutrition Show. We will see you next Monday morning, as always, and find out some more information on doctorsnutrition.com. Have a great week.
For more information on highlighting your business and services on Healthy Living South Mississippi, contact Jim Tabor at 896-1313.